Hey guys, once again I'm going to apologize for the heater, but I will not be able to make it through this if I don't have it on. And also, I'm going to do my best to try not to rant or say or pause too much in this video. I know that's been driving a couple of you crazy, but I really am doing my best here. So, I wanted to kind of quickly respond to something that came up in a kind of a submission wrestling Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blog that I joined because I wanted to answer a question, and this became another question that came up in that blog, which is if your partner doesn't tap to a submission, at what point does it become appropriate to just break their arm, right? And frankly, that comes down to, okay, what is the submission that we're talking about, and what is the point in that moment, right? So, if I am getting mugged or something on the street, and somebody, they pull the knife or something on me, and I really feel like I'm in danger, then I'm not going to hesitate to break somebody's leg or break somebody's arm or choke them out or whatever. But we're talking about if you're going to a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school, or if you're going to are on a wrestling team of some kind, and somebody's not respecting the fact that you've put them into a valid submission, that you've got the control, they're not going anywhere, you can finish that submission at any moment in time. What is the point of crossing that line and breaking somebody's arm and putting them in the hospital or whatever? If you do hurt your rolling partner, well, you've just lost a rolling partner. You're not going to see them again. So, you set up the submission already. You know how to finish that submission, right? You know that it's good. Even if they don't acknowledge it, you know for yourself that the submission is good. And that should be enough, right? Injuring your partner just means that there are fewer people that are willing to roll with you, right? So if you're that guy who injures people at your gym that you're practicing at, then nobody's going to want to practice with you. So, the guy could be a total douchebag, but you are trying to build your own reputation as somebody that people want to roll with. So if somebody doesn't respect a submission, you can threaten it. You can, especially like, say it's an arm bar, maybe not a heel hook or something like that, but if it's an arm bar, a straight ankle lock, even a bicep slice to a certain extent, you put them into a little bit of pain, but you are going very, very slowly, and like, if you go a millimeter further, their arm's going to break, or they're going to tear a ligament or a tendon. Let it go. It's not worth it to injure somebody else just so that you can get the acknowledgement that your submission is good. Now, if I had somebody in a triangle choke or a rear naked choke or something like that, and they're just not tapping, what's going to be the damage done if they pass out? Well, you do run a little bit of a risk. Maybe the arteries won't open back up. Maybe they'll go into cardiac or respiratory arrest of some kind. And that could be a very, very serious thing, and you could actually, potentially kill them. But, to be completely honest with you, that is so incredibly rare, right? We're talking, maybe not as like, winning the lottery or getting struck by lightning. Like, it's not quite those odds, but really the odds of somebody having a major event from getting choked out is actually pretty low. And by not tapping, in a way, that person is kind of consenting to being choked out. So so usually respect the tap, and if somebody passes out, you let them go, and you monitor them closely. If they're not waking up in 10 to 20 seconds, 20 seconds at the very most, then definitely be making sure that yes, they're still breathing. Check their pulse. Okay, their heart's still doing its thing. You might massage a little bit in here if that's they're not waking up. But generally speaking, like, when you choke somebody out, they're going to wake up right away and they're not going to have injuries from that experience unless you're doing like a short choke or something like that where you're going across the windpipe, and you want to be very careful with those anyways, whether people tap or not. So, you know, try to think about, okay, what is going to be the danger to the other person if you do finish the submission? And if it's a joint lock, a limb extension or something like that, then I probably wouldn't finish it all the way. If it's a choke, then I probably would. Even if we, when we discussed before a match, the other person said, I'm not necessarily comfortable with chokes. Well, if you're going slow enough and you set up a really clean choke and they have the ability to tap and get out of it, then it's their responsibility to tap. It's their responsibility to respect that that's real. But if they're like still trying to escape, and you know that they're 2 seconds out from going out, you have the choice of either releasing them or just letting them pass out. It's their responsibility to tap. And that's true of joint locks too. It is the other person's responsibility, and yes, technically it is kind of their fault, but you're the one making the choice. You're the one making that choice to, okay, am I going to injure this person even when they're being stupid? Their stupidity doesn't have to be your stupidity as well. So release them, tell them, hey, you should have tapped, we're starting over, I'm not continuing this round. That submission was totally good, and you need to respect that. It's the only way that you're going to be able to maintain your own reputation. It's the only way that you're going to be able to keep rolling partners going. And also, I've mentioned this probably a couple times now, where I was rolling with this really, really nice guy who does tap frequently, and he was like guarding his arm and trying to resist an Americana. And before his hand went to the mat, before I was even getting anywhere close to finishing it, his shoulder dislocated. And, in that context, I didn't think that his shoulder was going to dislocate. He knew that he had a history of shoulder dislocation, and he hadn't communicated that to me beforehand. And it wasn't that I was pushing the submission too far. In that moment, it's not really my fault that happened, but that doesn't mean I didn't feel like shit about it for, about a month afterwards, right? So when you hurt somebody, there's a lot of reasons not to go that far with things. There's a lot of reasons not to make that choice for somebody else, even if they're being stupid. So my answer to that particular question is no, I don't think it's really ever appropriate outside of a tournament or a self-defense situation to finish a submission. And even in tournaments, I feel like that's a little bit questionable, right? Because in the context of a tournament, right, it's the referee that says this is the end of the round. If the referee isn't acknowledging that the submission is good, which it's not their job to, right? They are looking for your opponent to submit or pass out. End of story. My coach was doing the Fight to Win here in Seattle, which is a professional submission tournament that, and he had got this guy in a straight ankle lock, and he was doing it, and he felt the foot break, and so he shifted his hold, and it broke here, and then it broke at the ankle. So he got this like triple break on the guy's foot, and he wasn't going and really cranking it. He was going pop, 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 and the guy was still trying to defend it and still trying to get out of it after he was very clearly injured. And after the match, I think they ended up running out of time, and since my coach had gotten everything set up, he'd been in control the whole time, he had more points than the other guy did, he ended up winning that match, and the guy came up to him afterwards and like, man, I really should have tapped. No shit, right? So if you are in a tournament, and maybe you're down in points or whatever, and the guy's just not tapping, what are you going to do, right? You might as well just go ahead and finish it. I would do it slowly still, right? Because you've got hopefully have the control at that moment that you can, because you want to give him as much time to not be an idiot, right? And so give him every opportunity to not walk away with injury, because that is not our goal here. We're not here to prove that the submission works. We are here to mostly just have fun and enjoy each other's company and share this passion that we all have. So that's my feedback on that. When should you actually cross that line? Well, the answer is basically never. So thank you guys for listening. Let me know if you guys have questions, have topics that you want me to cover, and I will try to get those as soon as possible. I know I'm still in this phase where I'm slowing down and not doing a whole lot with it because I've got conditions going on. But in the meantime, I'm still committed to you guys. So if you guys have questions, concerns, things that you want to cover, great. If you guys have other experiences, and I posted this to the Facebook group earlier today, but one of the videos that I've been wanting to make for a long time now is to talk about the differences between different types of wrestling. So going over the rules of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu versus Judo versus submission wrestling, which is Nogi, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, maybe pro rules, maybe going over folk style, freestyle, Greco-Roman, Kushi, Indian wrestling, catch wrestling, Sambo, all these different styles that are out there. And one of the reasons why I haven't done that is because I don't know anything about these other sports, right? I never did folk style, freestyle, Greco-Roman wrestling. I know the kind of the differences between them. There are certain things that you can do. There's certain ways that matches are determined, like in Greco-Roman, for example. You can't attack the legs from standing, right? So you can't go for those low singles or the low doubles or whatever. You basically have to throw people just like you would in Judo. And so that's one of the things that you have to watch out for in those particular ones. And some matches do require like a 3-second count. Sometimes, Turkish oil wrestling, like I don't know the rules of that. All I know is that they have really hot pants and they're all oily. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? So, a lot of the people that are in the Facebook group, at least, because I do ask these questions for joining, will say, I'm into Kushi wrestling, I'm into Greco-Roman, I'm into Sambo. And what I really, really want to see from this community is I want to see people sharing that passion and sharing the videos and ideas and thoughts and techniques that they get from all these different disciplines. So, understand, please, that there's limitations to what I can show you and what I can provide for this channel and what I can teach you. And if you really, really want to expand your knowledge of an amateur style of wrestling, for example, like a collegiate style, going out there and sharing what you do know, especially when there's a lot of people who are starting to do that. You participating and you sharing your videos and you sharing your content with the community, or even becoming somebody on this channel that posts to this channel, which I will totally do for anybody who wants to do it. When you start sharing, other people are going to be like, well, I'm going to start sharing, and people are going to get that feeling of what is this community really about, and it is about helping each other grow. So please become a little bit more involved with that if you can. I'm always happy, like we had somebody a couple weeks ago post his dummy drills that he does for COVID and social distancing and all that. Some people post workouts from time to time, and that's great. The more we get of that, the more we will get of that. So it's going to be the self-perpetuating cycle that, if you guys can start getting the ball rolling along with me, otherwise you guys are going to be limited in having to listen to my stutter and pauses and ranting and all that. So, if you guys want more content, more things to draw upon here, please start sharing, and I would really appreciate that. Still looking at potentially doing either a Zoom or Discord meeting for the community where we go ahead and we do a live lesson. The issue with that is that Jet and I work weekends, and we work pretty late on the weekends. So, finding a time that's going to work with everybody, during the week, Jet's either working or I'm going to be we're going to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes in the evening, so it's really limited on what time that we can find for that, and that's been the major holdup on that. We could do sometime like Sunday early afternoon would probably work just fine. So, which is specific time, so we'd have to be done by 3, which would be 6 o'clock Eastern time. So, yeah, let us know what you guys want to see, if you guys are interested in doing a live class, because one of the reasons why I want to do that is, you guys pose questions, right? So we'll take turns with somebody posing a question, being like, hey, how do you deal with this situation? I've got questions or concerns with this technique. And what that will allow us to do is to actually address things in the moment and hopefully help you guys get better in general on a more focused plane. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.